Okay, today we're going to talk about scientific notation, which is a way to write really, really, really big numbers using powers of 10. And so a number in scientific notation is written as the product, remember that means multiply, of two factors, one greater than or equal to 1 and less than 10, and the other a power of 10. So for example, this number right here, this is in what we call standard form. Okay, that's how you've always written your numbers, right? What is that, 7.5 billion? No, trillion, okay? So that's standard form with the commas and the zeros. Another way to write that, the same number, is 7.5 times 10 to the 12th power. Okay, so this is a product of two factors. This factor is greater than or equal to 1 and less than 9, right? Is this number greater than or equal to 1? Yes. Is it less than 9? Also yes. Okay, so that's the first factor, and then the second factor, this is a power of 10. So every single time for scientific notation, it's going to be a number that's greater than or equal to 1 but less than 10 times a power of 10. So it says, are the following written in correct scientific notation? Why or why not? So what do you think? Is this one correct? This one is not in correct scientific notation because this factor, so we're going to write because 12.5 is not less than 10. Remember, one of the rules is that it has to be, the factor has to be greater than 1, that says, and less, and less than 10. This is not less than 10, so this is not in correct scientific notation. Okay, so what about this one? What do you think? No, it is not, because 8 to the third is not a power of 10, right? It would have to be 10 to the third. So it has to be a number that is greater than or equal to 1 but less than 10 times a power of 10. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take these numbers and we're going to write them in scientific notation. So the first step is to place our decimal point, and we always want to place it after the first number. Okay, so I'm going to put it after the 3. And then I write the digits all the way until I get to the last number that's not a 0. So this one I would write 3.96. This one I would write 2.84. This one I would write 7.5. This one I would write 9.6. Okay, and then it's always going to have times 10, right? Times the power of 10. And so what we have to do is we have to figure out what the exponent is. Okay, what the exponent is. So what we want to do is we want to count how many numbers came after this first number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that would be times 10 to the 8th power. Okay, look at this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2.84 times 10 to the 5th power. Okay, another way of thinking of it is how many places you would have to move your decimal point, right? So right here is where I want it. So that's 1, 2, 3 spaces. I just think it's easier to count the numbers that come after the first. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, a lot of times people want to make it how many zeros there are. Okay, none of these were the same as the number of zeros, right? It's not times 2 or times 10 to the power of 2, it was 3 because there were 3 numbers after the 7. Here it wasn't to the power of 3, it was to the power of 5 because there were 5 numbers after the 2. So why don't y'all pause your video and go ahead and do these two and see if you can write them. Okay, on this one, you should have 8.6 times 10 to the third, and then 2.1 times 10 to the 7th. Okay, and again, you can think of it as I would be moving my decimal point 1, 2, 3, or you just count how many numbers come after the first. Okay, so now we're going to do essentially the opposite, where I'm going to give you the number in scientific notation, and you are going to write it in standard form. Hold on, I feel like my camera is foggy or something here. This is high quality video. It's still foggy. Okay, here we go. So on this one, the way I like to do this is I like to write it without any decimals. I'm just going to write 125, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 7, 3, 3, 2. Okay, and now if I go back up to here, right, this exponent represents how many numbers came after the first one. So this is telling me that I should have 6 numbers after 1, right? How many are there? There's only 2. So I'm going to make it 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers after my first one. And we are going to use commas, and you start at the end and you go 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. Okay, so here I should have 2 numbers after 1. So 1, 2. Right? I should have 9 numbers after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to place my commas. 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. Here I should have 5 numbers after the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, comma. So why don't you guys pause your video and do these last 2. Okay, on this one, you should have 70,000, okay, because we had to add 4 zeros. I wanted 7 numbers after my first, 4 numbers after my first. 1, 2, 3, 4. And on this last one, I added 5 zeros because I wanted 8 numbers after my first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when I place my commas, I start on the right. 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma.